to the first ever Coal Sports race, pre-season race number 1. How are you, Tim?
Going well, mate. Going really well.
This is going to be epic. It's been really exciting to be involved with this right through. We've done two workouts along the way. Everyone's really pumped. We've got A, B, C, and D grade racing tonight.
We certainly do. So we're in the starting gates tonight of B grade. So we'll just be seeing the start of B grade, but we expect everyone to come together. Fingers crossed. If not, we'll stick with B grade for this pre-season race. So no points on offer tonight. Just like in any team sports or professional sporting environments, this is just a chance for our athletes to get a feel for the race.
Yep.
And it's a Watopia Hilly route, just one lap.
Yeah, quick one. So
lap,
9.5K, a really solid climb,
Yep.
some descent, some good flat. So it is going to be on out of the gates.
Yeah, as coaches, a little bit of FTP data almost. So expect some of the faster riders to be around in sort of 15 minutes, and it sort of tail off from there. So
in B grade tonight, we have representing the Western Jason Avery, all the way from Western Australia. Who else we've got?
Karim Bari, Steve Davies, Tony Goodyear, Sarah Hutchison, Chris Piper, Aaron Stagg, and Aaron Webb in B grade.
This is going to be on. So we're only 2 minutes out. So if you are an athlete that is racing tonight, you want to have that heart rate starting to go north.
Yeah, of course. And we've got C grade guys getting ready. We've got Jeffy Bartlett, April Gillies, Jason Madsen, Jason Stewart, Alexander Tolman, Sof and Simon Vincent. In D grade, we have Hayley Tuck and Adrian Elsom.
And in the great A grade,
I think we have Tebow, a lone Tebow. So
we had an interesting, here's a bit of gameplay going on here. So we did have another athlete in A grade, and if we were playing for points tonight,
he'd just have to finish.
Absolutely. So we'll definitely be working on all that. Some amazing comments coming through. People are actually wishing each other luck. I'd be throwing an elbow.
a Zwift
letting the tyre down.
It's going to be like all these Zwift races. We expect a really hot start, and to really basically carry a lot of power and a lot of momentum. Probably with about, I'm going to say, 8 to 10 seconds to go. Whatever trainer you're on, you really want to start to have some momentum, because given it is such a short race, and the comm comes so early.
Yeah, real early.
It will really start to separate the field. So you don't want to miss the jump.
The athletes should actually find that they're all going to come together as one after about 3 seconds.
Yeah,
that's what we're
expecting, and that's how the gameplay should run. But if it doesn't, we'll just roll with B grade tonight.
So 30 seconds left. What do we got?
So basically, their heart rates will start to come up on the side, and orange suggests a lot of hard work, max 7, 8, 6 watts per kilo, and that's what we go through. So we're going to kick it off, Greg.
We're off.
You lead it off, mate.
So we're off here, and we are out of the barriers. Obviously, we just started following Tony Goodyear. It is on. It's on early. 7 watts a kilo. Steve Davies has come in with a plan, all the way from Cairns. Been doing a lot of practice, and Webby's there. Maybe they'll work together, Tim. Work together.
So we're going to be sticking with B grade tonight
like
in the pre-season race. So look, we're going to see some hot racing off the front here, and as we come through the field, and Jason Avery dropping an absolute monster. He's pushing 6 watts per kilo off the front and really leading the charge.
So how far have we got, Tim, till we hit the climb? Not too far, I'm thinking.
Yeah, correct. Basically, after 1 kilometre, we're going to hit a 5.5% grade, essentially over a 0.6 of a mile climb, and it'll really start to the riders will really start to feel that.
We've already hit a little bit of a grade now, a bit of a false flat leading into the hill, which can definitely drag the legs out. So we're just approaching that area now. We're flattened out a little bit.
Stevie Davies really got to work hard to trying to stay onto that group. You can see he's out of the saddle and working really hard to stay on. You want to try and stay as tight as you can, because as soon as that elastic band snaps, it's really hard to get back on. They're really going to start to feel the pinch here as they come up around the corner off Ocean Boulevard, and it just dips a little into the comm here. We can see the start of the comm on the right-hand side. There's a red little banner, and that signifies the start of the comm.
Look at some of these heart rates. So we're already touching 170 beats a minute at the bottom, 360 watts from Aaron Stagg.
Yeah, and Chris Piper was touching 6.2 watts per kilo. So, look, it'll be really hard to make ground onto the group if you can't stick here. So we should see potentially some strategic riding here, and just trying to stay together. A bit like in any cycling race, people will try and make sure they hold a wheel as they go up.
Yep. So we've got Webby off the front. Jason Avery is, I would say, having a bit of a breather there.
Yeah, we've got a little group of 3 here off the front.
Good.
I think we've got a small break already in B grade. We've got Aaron Webb, Aaron Stagg and Jason Avery now sticking together. So you can see a gap of 2 seconds back to Chris Piper and Karim Bari, now 3 seconds. So the boys are really starting to throw some hurt down on the other riders.
Check out the heart rate, Tim. 180 beats a minute. I would imagine that's getting up towards an absolute max.
There's a lot of pain there. I would say that there's a few droplets of sweat now going onto the floor in Aaron Webb's pain cave. So we've got a clear distinction.
So if these 3 can work together now over the top, once they get to the top, that is.
There is still a ways to go, but you can see now that gap is now starting to form. So they're holding mid 4 watts per kilo.
Yep.
And Tony Goodyear probably has to decide whether he absolutely puts the hammer down and tries to bridge across, or essentially sit back and maybe take the second group and go for points. Now, of course, we're not going for points tonight, but that's where this Swift racing is so much fun.
Oh, yeah.
Is that then you start to, you don't want to be isolated.
So as the series develops, athletes can choose, when they start, they can choose A, B, C or D grade based on their wattage per kilo.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting as we, as coaches and adjudicators, work out where we're going to push athletes up as well.
Yeah, so what will happen when the racing proper starts is that athletes will just simply sign up to a grade and they'll nominate which grade they want to race in, and that way we keep everyone together, and then we've got everyone on screen.
Nice. All right, so we've hit the top of the climb here, I guess, have we? No?
We have. We're back over. We're on delay.
I didn't know where we were looking.
No.
That's all right. So we've hit the top of the climb. We've got Jason and his the twin Aarons, we'll call it. It's a new name for those guys. They've all summited together over the comm.
So we're down on the descent here, and unlike sitting up and perhaps just taking a breather in Zwift, I'd say these guys are going to stay working hard. This is a short, sharp race. So already Aaron Stagg dropping 5 watts per kilo. So Staggy over in New Zealand, he's going to really apply some pressure, I'd say, to the boys here.
Yep.
We should be up for an absolute humdinger finish.
Absolutely. It's here we go. We've got a power up there. I think someone was using a feather on the wrong section of the course, but that's okay. We're all learning. Jason looks like he is absolutely dropping the hammer. And trying to bust it off the front.
You can see a clear gap now. So we've got basically Chris and Karim are together at the moment.
Yep.
We can see them now working together as well. Look there. So Karim's sitting back off Chris's wheel. Probably needs to work up a little bit closer, I would say, and try and bridge that gap. And he's now, pushing nearly 5 watts per kilo. I'd say Karim's working really hard to close that gap, and making sure that he gets that draft effect. So it'd be really interesting, Greg, to see what power-ups they've all collected over that comm.
We're going to see them
come into play.
Yeah, we're going to see them come through probably as they hit the flatter sections of the course.
Yep.
And then on towards the finish.
Yeah, absolutely.
We still have quite a long way to go.
So there's now we've got essentially we do have a few groups, if you want to call it. We've got almost a 30-second gap now from the middle to the front pack, and I'm sure we'll cross to the front pack shortly to see how the guys are going. So we've got a small, almost a small rise here in the descent as they come around, and then they'll start to get to sort of the bumps and the bridge section as they come downhill.
So, Tim, if people out there watching on Facebook are interested in the Cola Sports League, can they still join? That's probably a good question.
You really
We've had
haven't
a couple of times today.
Yes, certainly. if there's still over 20 events between now and October. So the reality is there's still plenty of reasons to join, and you certainly haven't missed out on any tournament points or anything like that.
Yep.
Just a few workouts which have gone off really well, and look, it's a you certainly can join and just go to coasportsleague.com.
Nice. So as we come back down this descent now, knowing the course a little bit, we hit a bump. There's a little climb. Before we hit the village.
Yeah, look, it's just a small chance for the guys off the front here to just get a little bit of a rest. So you can see Jason Avery's heart rate is back down to the mid 160s.
Yep.
So he's certainly stabilised. He's getting that draft effect on Zwift, and certainly mid 160s. He's maintaining a really high cadence as well, which is excellent riding.
Yep.
So holding it well over 100 RPM. Currently pushing sort of high 200s, sitting around 300 watts. Just so has it, Jason is preparing for a half marathon at the moment, so pretty good form for a runner.
Absolutely. And if you compare the pair, Aaron is pretty much similar heart rate, but pushing 76 RPM. So look at his wattage. Through the roof.
Completely different, obviously. Completely different athlete as well. So Aaron is a cyclist.
Yep.
He is not a triathlete like Jason. So this is where you get that mix of that eclectic mix of endurance athletes on the same stage racing each other and ultimately getting the best out of each other. These guys are pushing each other. There is no way that these guys are doing this on their own when they've got an effort.
Absolutely. So we've hit that little pinch now, and you can see the heart rate start to go up and the wattages start to go through the roof again. So it's 4.8 watts a kilo. It's, and here's Jason again having another dip off the front. He won't stop this bloke.
Yeah, he's throwing down lots of attacks. We're at roughly 5.3 kilometres, so we're over halfway now through the race, and they can afford to, really drop the hammer over this little kick here. For those that are familiar and have raced or trained on Watopia Hilly, that's a nice little chance there just to make sure that you're keeping your competition honest. Now, the guys behind, if you can notice, Greg, so Tony Goodyear has moved up within 21 seconds, so he's closed as he comes up.
He's working his bum off.
He's really working hard. Yeah, he's closed the gap by nearly 13 seconds. Now, it'll be a miracle if he closes the whole gap, but maybe left a little bit too much out there at the start.
Yep, and you can see that Chris Piper and Karim now I would say they're together, not too far back. So who knows? We might get a second pack developing of three that will stick together as well.
Well, from Chris's view right now, he can see Tony right up the road.
There's a big carrot there.
He's only 5 seconds up the road, so he'll be working really hard to try and close that gap. And Karim obviously sitting again off Chris's wheel and getting a nice draft effect. I would say that Karim will be lining himself up for a big sprint finish.
Absolutely. And you can see Karim there's now got onto Chris's wheel. They're now only 4 seconds back from Tony, so it looks like Tony's still pushing some big numbers, but if I'm racing Zwift and I'm seeing that little carrot up the road, I'm bridging the gap.
For sure. Look, we're basically a two-bunch finish here, haven't we? We've got two groups of 3 riders in B grade. Ultimately, if we're going for points, this really does matter. We award points down to 5th place. So at the moment, Chris is in points contention and Karim, but that's going to swap as it's already swapped just now. And so ultimately, you want to be trying to get points out of every race.
Yep, and the leaders now, we'll just stay with these guys, but the leaders have we just jumped across. The leaders have gone through that sprint section, so they're all still together.
And we've got someone using an Aero Boost power up right now, the helmet, so looking to drop that early, which is an interesting strategy, but they're using it into this last kicker. Maybe they're going to try and apply and try and break the group here. There looks to be a
little knowledge on the course here that's been some of these guys are quite...
There's a feather up. A feather power up. So Aaron Stagg is coming through the group, it would appear, and dropping a feather power up. Now, Jason Avery, he hasn't played his yet, I don't think. So if he can manage to hold the wheel here of Aaron Stagg, then look out for that sprint finish.
So we haven't got too long to go. So we're
certainly only 2 kilometres. 2 kilometres to go. We're coming through what's called the S's section. So a lot of up and down, holding wheels, a lot of weird sort of action where you just don't want to brake and set yourself up for a good run to the finish.
Yeah. you can see the guys behind are still definitely working together. So I think they're all together now, actually. So we'll probably stay with these guys and watch the sprint finish, and then we'll quickly jump back to the other guys and watch the sprint for 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we come through this S section,
you're struggling with that.
You'll see a lot of up and downs through here. Essentially, the key to Zwift is trying to hold your fire and keeping your powder dry coming into this, particularly this. There's a long sort of a downhill that leads into the final sprint of about 300 meters.
Yep.
So you'll see almost fighting for the rear position in a weird sort of a way to try and get that toe. Yeah, so at the moment, Aaron is sitting just, I would say, in a beautiful position for a bit of an attack, but there is still, a long way to go.
These guys, Tim, they're going to be cooked after this, right? So this is a 15-minute full gas workout. You can't do that on the
which, for him is right on threshold. I can guarantee you, knowing Aaron really well, that he is absolutely on the limit. Not to give away your game, Aaron, but I know you're absolutely pushing and hanging in there. So we're inside 1 kilometre go. And Greg, you might call the finish, mate.
Righto. So heading off in the finish here, we've got Jason and Aaron Webb in the lead. I reckon Stagg is just sitting back. I think I'm going to... Oh, there it is. There's the power up from Jason Avery that we're looking for.
He's used the draft bus.
So here's my tip. He's gone too early. I'm going to throw it out there as the commentator. He's gone off too early.
You're a brave man.
He's pushing 6 watts a kilo. The other two don't have a power up left. They've both used theirs already, so they're going to have to bridge the gap themselves.
What a thrilling finish this is. It looks like Jason's he could hold them off here. Both the Aarons are going to be working together through the line. Jason is absolutely dropping the hammer. He's got a really good lead, 2 seconds. I don't think they're going to close it.
They're not going to close it.
I think Jason's
going to take working. B-grade. So Aaron Webb now 5.2 watts a kilo. I don't know exactly how far there is to go. There can't be long.
Jason Avery coming up to the finish line. We're with him now as he crosses the finish line. He's absolutely dropped over 6 watts per kilo. Well done, Jason. Claimed that Aaron Webb in 2nd position and Aaron Stagg in 3rd position.
Now we're going to jump back to some more fun here, somewhere along the line, if we can see it. We're going to... No, we're not. We're just going to stick with those guys, talk about how awesome it was. We've got a couple of things to work out before our next race, which will be amazing.
Yeah, look, I thought that the finish was, absolutely amazing there, where Jason managed to actually hold that sprint finish off, and really fight it out to the line.
So it's going to be interesting
now. To see.
It's going to be interesting as a coach. 5-second power, new 1 minute power, all these sorts of numbers are going to start to come through, and ultimately...
See Jason really put pressure on Aaron Stagg and Aaron Webb in the end there, and we saw the guys really fight it out to the line.
Absolutely.
Did we see any BMCs there?
Not quite, but I think we're going to throw in an ad anyway, just for everyone to have a good look at a real one. What did I say earlier tonight? Next bike.
Next bike. Let's check it out.
Hi, my name is Mark Otten. I'm the Road Product Manager at BMC Switzerland. Next to me, you see the new Time Machine Road. The goal of creating this bike was to create the fastest road bike possible. We did this by integrating as many features as possible into the system design. What also benefits to making this bike as fast as possible is the highest possible power transfer in the center of the bike. We did this by creating a very high BB and chainstay stiffness. Countless hours of testing and engineering resulted in a tube shape that is the best combination of aerodynamic performance, sidewind stability and stiffness. On the front end of the bike, we have a new ICS Aero cockpit. This is a completely new designed stem handlebar combination. It gets rid of all the visible cables and creates a super minimal frontal surface as well. On the front of the ICS Aero stem, we have an integrated computer mount, making a super smooth transition between computer and stem. On the center of the bike, we have a new Aero module. This integrates hydration and storage into the system design of the frame. The Aero module creates a super clean integrated look and also improves the aerodynamic performance of the complete bike. Part of the total integration package is the front fork. We try to integrate the disc brake caliper in the best way possible by making an aero cover on the front of the fork. With this high level of integration and aerodynamic performance, we were still able to keep the adjustability very high. On the seat post, for example, you have 3 offset positions integrated into one post. On the front end of the bike, you are able to change the stem length or the bar width separately. TCC Speed is our new compliance concept. On the front end of the bike, with our new ICS Aero stem, we were able to achieve a lot of vertical compliance while still keeping a very high lateral stiffness. On the rear end of the bike, we have the seat stays meeting the seat tube in a very low position. This helps the compliance in the rear of the bike. The new Time Machine Road will be available at your local BMC retailer. We offer 3 different models and 1 frameset module. If you have any other questions about the bike, go to your local BMC shop or contact us directly.
We've got some fresh new young talent doing some things that I know you haven't heard before.
1, 2, 3, listen.
Well, that was absolutely exciting, Tim. That was really cool.
That was some good live action there, and no doubt some tongues hanging out.
Oh, yeah. And plenty of guys still, we're still watching Zwift in the background, so plenty of the guys still rolling around, hopefully now doing a little cool down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which we all like as coaches. So, my phone's already been going off from a couple of people. How do I get involved?
Yeah, sure. So again, you just go to coasportsleague.com and just express some interest that way.
You haven't missed a thing, by the way.
No, you really
Nothing.
haven't. You really haven't. So tonight, as a pre-season race, was just a chance for people to get a feel for the racing, where they might sit in the group, a feel for the coverage, what it might look like. Again, when we're racing for points, we bring everyone together. Everyone will come together, and we'll call it, and we'll explain how all the nomination procedure works. But a really good chance for you guys to get an insight as to who's racing. But I think Jason might have shown us a bit of a hand there. That was some pretty strong finish.
Now, that was a B grade group, so we're going to have a look at Jason's file later on tonight and maybe make a couple of suggestions. Now, lastly, before we go, we have been in the same room now for about 7 hours. We're in the Pain Cave, the studio.
Yeah, we
did. And we recorded a podcast earlier, which I reckon some of our best content yet.
It was some ripping content. We went through a lot of stuff. So, Coa Sports Podcast on Podomatic and iTunes.
Yep. Subscribe, download, give us a review. Only 5-star ones, thanks. No, we're after constructive feedback, so if you've got any, and we have changed a whole lot of stuff as we've gone along. And same with this. We're happy to hear, anyone out there who's got some ideas and stuff that we might be able to...
We're back for a group workout on Tuesday, and then we're back for a race on Thursday. So the hits just keep coming. And look, for some athletes in the Southern Hemisphere at the moment, it's getting a little bit cooler and a chance to perhaps get a little bit warmer in the confines of Zwift amongst teammates, but let's call them frenemies.
Frenemies
During the Coa Sports League, mate. But,
nice. So well done to everyone who raced tonight. Do a good cool down, and we will see you guys very soon.
Catch you later. Good job.
See ya.
Ciao.